mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is Chult of Personality, our Tomb of Annihilation campaign that is now entering its 47th episode, entitled The Rotten Halls. That's right, we've been playing Tomb of Annihilation for over a year and a half, for somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 hours. This is episode 47. In the last session, you guys officially got into the Tomb of the Nine Gods, and things are getting dangerous, as you've already seen just in the foyer of the tomb, and it only gets more deadly from here on out. Real quick, a couple of announcements. I want to draw your attention down to the bottom of the screen, where you will see 3 logos and a scroll. Jasper's Game Day is a organization that we are pleased to be partnered with. Jasper's Game Day, founded by Fenway Jones, the team DM, right here in West Michigan. And it is an organization that, through tabletop gaming, seeks to raise awareness and prevent suicide. And they are raising funds on a continuous basis to fund crisis centers around the country and around the world. If you type Jasper in the chat, as Fellowship of the Tables has just done, there is a direct link so that you can donate directly to Jasper's Game Day to help fund those crisis centers. Also, along with the Jasper's Game Day, I have partnered with Initiative Coffee Company to create Metade roast coffee. It is a Brazilian and Peruvian medium roast coffee that is absolutely delicious. And for every 12-ounce bag that you purchase, $3 goes to help fund those crisis centers through Jasper's Game Day. On that message of suicide awareness and prevention, we want you to know, and we mean this, we value you. Whoever you are somebody who is important, and not just to us. Somebody thinks you're important. But if you are feeling less than, if you are feeling that you have nobody and you need somebody to talk to, please type !help in the chat, again, as Fellowship of the Table has done, and you will find the National Suicide Hotline that you can call any time of day or night. Trained professionals are standing by at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255, or you can text 741-741. Please do not hesitate to use that number. It's available for you. Trained professionals are standing by. If you are a veteran, you can press the number 1 after the call goes through and be taken directly to a veteran's version of the suicide prevention hotline. Finally, down in the lower right corner, you will see a logo for D&D Beyond. Mini Terrain Domain streams, Dungeons and Dragons streams, are powered by D&D Beyond. They have granted us insider access, and that is why you are able to roll your mouse over the screen and see a pop-up on the left-hand side that will show you the real-time view of the characters in this campaign, or whatever campaign we're showing. And you can see what their conditions are. Like right now, I can see that Qualu is at about half hit points, but has 5 temporary hit points. You can click through on there, and by clicking on Qualu, I can see what his armor class is, what all of his stats are. I can see what his I can see an attuned item. I can scroll through it and see more of his character sheet. I can even click on View Character Sheet, and it will take me to D&D Beyond to see his character sheet. And if I can do it, so can you. So thank you to D&D Beyond for that. The last thing is down below. You can see the devils, the devil heads, the green devil faces, of which they've encountered their first one in the tomb. But these devils are domain devils that are granted every time one of you in the audience provides a tip of $5, a 500-bit donation, or a subscription or resubscription, raids, all those good things. It is a way that you, the audience, can have an impact on the campaign, allowing the players to re-roll dice. And all of the good things that can happen are scrolling along the bottom there. And if you want to help have an influence on the game, then that's how you can do so. And I have a feeling that with every progressing game here in the tomb, they're going to need more and more domain dice. In our last session, as we said, the players entered the actual tomb of the 9 gods. They were able to get through, rescue themselves from the pit trap, and begin moving through the corridors, which they immediately discovered there was a third trap set up with poison darts. They ingeniously low-crawled their way through, preventing themselves from being struck by any more of these. When they got to the T intersection, they encountered a green devil face with a completely void-filled mouth. No light would pass through this seemingly magical darkness. And though one or two, I think at least one person, briefly toyed with the idea of putting their hand inside the mouth, ultimately they decided not to mess with it. Then Brilinya used a warlock invocation that allowed her to literally see through the walls and discover that, first off, not surprising since the tomb is located inside the cliff, there's a lot of stone surrounding them. But she was able to see that there is a river that passes to the north and south under a grate immediately next to them, and she was able to view a little bit of, to their right, to the east rather, that there was a large open balcony with some stairs, and to the west, to their left, they could see a large crystal paned glass window, and just beyond that, they could see a tomb, a crypt. They chose to go this way, attacking the glass, which required much strength, but that was no match for Qualu and his giant adamantine sword, great sword. Shattering the glass, they went in, discovering that the 6 undead creatures that sat on thrones around the perimeter of the room, wearing papier-mâché and feather masks, sprung into action when they stepped into the room. They were able to dispatch them through quick and violent means, and they peered inside the sepulcher in the room, discovering a pile of Zorbo bones. Vale reached into the sepulcher and without hesitation pulled out the golden ring that was lying amidst the bones, setting off a spiritual contest. Already Many, many sessions ago, Vale had become inhabited by the spirit of Kubazan, the Froggamoth, when they defeated him, and had been gifted with great strength and boldness. But now, the spirit of Obolaka the Zorbo pushed Kubazan out, and now Vale has lost that boon of strength, gaining the new ability to attune to one additional magical item. But he's also inhabited by Obolaka, who is a much more cautious and timid person, or spirit. The four of you now stand in the aftermath of destroying the undead and seeing this contest play out in the countenance of Vale as he looked around at you, sort of shrinking in on himself just a little bit, and placed this magical ring on his finger, which, as Vale knows, it is nothing more than a ring of protection. But already something shifted in Vale. I will say, for the sake of the audience, that I was reminded after we went off the air last week that the players are now level 10. They have indeed leveled up, which means some of them have access to new abilities, new spells, higher hit points, and more. All of you now standing in the tomb, we are picking up in the exact moment after Vale has had this spiritual battle. What would you like to do? Anyone?
I mean, we're good now, right? Like, we just probably leave? Because, I mean, we just went into a tomb in this place. And it was kind of annihilation-y. We annihilated everything in there. So we're good now. So, I mean, everything's done. Right? Now
there is the little matter of the soulmonger to deal with.
Fuck that guy. You know what? He can have it. Really? I mean, does anyone else really, do we want to? Okay. Fine.
While I had tried to exercise Vale, and you can tell obviously that it has not worked because I imagine that Vale is still acting very skittish and strange. And so Dunala, noticing this and knowing that there's some kind of trickery going on with some kind of spirit, some kind of ring, some kind of something that he can't place in here, he's going to basically take a back seat, kind of go on autopilot for a minute, and then kind of watch Vale to see what Vale does next.
Did we want to go across the way? Referring to the balcony.
We
must find the soulmonger.
Lead the way, my friend.
Everyone make me a perception check.
Five.
3.
It's a 13 for me.
16.
Are you having an earthquake, Connor?
No, I'm not having an earthquake. My apologies.
I was for a second there. I thought something was wrong with my eyes. I'm sorry.
No,
what was your perception
16.
check?
16.
All right. As you guys are all talking about preparing to move out of this room and head across the way in the other direction of that T intersection, Qualu, there's a spot on the floor where Vale gathered up all of the papier-mâché and feather masks that the undead were wearing and set them afire, burning them to ash. And as you're all just sort of turning, thinking, okay, let's head on this way, you notice that on the floor where Vale set fire to this ash, a little bit of the ash and one little piece of feather that didn't quite burn up seems to just, as if caught in some sort of cross current. And this is located on the northern side of the room, sort of between where So as a reminder, this room, as you entered it, you were facing to the west. On the north wall, the west wall, and the south wall, there were 2 alcoves on each wall with thrones made of stone in them, and that's where the undead had risen from. This pile is more northerly, but is located in a line with the easternmost thrones on the north and south walls, and some sort of cross current seems to be causing it to flutter.
Qualu licks one of his fingertips, kind of holds it out down where the cross current, where he saw the feather starting to flutter, and he'll use this to try and feel the breeze, try to track it to its source.
Give me I'll let you choose survival or investigation.
Be a 17 total on survival.
You sense that this air current seems to be moving. It's real subtle. And it is primarily along the floor, but it seems to be coming from the southern direction, and sort of just like when this feather flutters, it moves centimeters or millimeters and then a centimeter towards the northern area. But you get the sense that the only way this could happen is if there was some sort of airflow both to the north and to the south.
And he'll look at this southern wall, or wherever the origin of this breeze is, and he'll kind of like, if there's nothing obvious, he'll like tap the wall with the tip, or the edge, one of the blunter edges of his greatsword, and kind of trying to notify the party that there's something here. He's like, I think there's something here.
You basically have along that southern wall, you have, starting in the eastern corner, which is along the same wall as where you came in, you have about 10 feet of wall, a throne, 10 feet of wall, a throne, 5 feet of wall before you hit the other corner. And it's in this southeastern quadrant, somewhere in the vicinity of the wall or that throne, that you detected the airflow.
So yeah, he'll like kind of stand around near that throne, kind of like, and he'll again like strike the wall, only to kind of make a rapping noise to get everyone's attention. I think there's something here.
What do you mean something? Some kind of trap, perhaps? Some kind of exploding thing? Another undead?
There is wind, soft, yet here.
An air current. I see.
Yeah.
Well then, take your sword and start hitting things.
There was that river that I saw. Way down below. Could that be where it's coming from?
I see no hole to a river here. Perhaps the throne moves.
But it's not. What is it? Is it just air? It's not poison, is it?
He'll like smell the finger that was like he was using to trace the breeze, and I mean, if it just smelled like stale air, he would relay that.
It smells like nothing.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah.
Dunala will point at the throne and be like, well, can you move the throne? Or do I have to blow it up?
I will try. And Qualu will dig his heels in, kind of pop his back and like crack his neck and crack his hands and pop and kind of like get ready to push on this throne.
Wait, before you do, maybe you should just see if it could be trapped. You know these old places.
Well, since when do you show such a kind of caution? You pulled a lever just a few minutes ago and you killed us all.
Yeah, well, that was before, and before was
now,
then.
Yes, this is now, and now we are moving the throne.
Right, but maybe we should just check it first. I mean, I would really hate to have come all this way to be killed by being careless. There's nothing wrong with being careful, right? Just...
Ubtal does not suggest such silly behavior, Vale. You know better as the Fang of Ubtal. Now let us move this throne before I start throwing fireballs at it.
It was care that made me notice it anyhow.
All right. Well, as long as better you than me, I suppose. All right. Look, I'll just be on the other side trying to pull, I guess. See what I can do.
And I'll just kind of buckle down, I'm not going to like just, football body slam it because that'd be dumb. He's going to kind of like slow and easy trying to just get a nice push to it. See if it budges at all in any way.
And I'll help.
Okay. As you guys start kind of pushing into it, you can feel strong resistance because you're pushing a stone throne against a stone wall. But as you take a moment and release, it gives just a fraction. You get the sense that maybe this isn't a thing to be pushed, but rather to be pulled.
Then Coley will go to the other side of it and push from that direction.
What?
We'll pull it.
You should try stomping it like you did the crates back at the dock, Squallow.
Les, I don't want to break my foot.
That's never stopped you before.
I said that out before I broke my foot.
Just roll a d20 for his advantage. He's got the higher strength now, so
I do.
Now.
Yeah, so whichever one of you wants to make the roll can do so at advantage because you're being helped.
Okay, then never mind. And I won't have to roll then. Good.
All right. That's going to be with advantage a total of 20. Dirty 20.
Nice.
Okay. While they're doing this, where are you, Brilinya and Dunala?
About 20, 25 feet away watching.
Yeah, Brilinya is right next to Dunala.
Actually, you should probably be like right behind Dunala, so that
I
way.
can imagine that both like Brilinya and Dunala's like scratching their chin as they watch from like a very safe distance. Like, yeah, this will work out.
So Qualu, you start to pull, and with Vale helping, you're able to pull it out evenly from the wall. And you feel it already begin to move. There's still a little bit of resistance, and then suddenly it sort of comes free. And the two of you notice as this throne comes forward, all around the edges and across the top, you see a sparking as you realize that this is somebody has ringed the edge of this throne with flint and set it in a steel frame. As you pull it forward, there's a sparking, and then you hear a and I need Vale and Qualu to make dexterity saving throws.
Child's play. My mother was a dragon. I rolled a 19 for a total of, I think, 19? Total of 20, sorry. Total of 20.
Or 19 for a total of 4.
Yeah.
I got a 26.
Okay, so let's see. 9, 14, 15, 16, 17. So you will both take 8 fire damage as there's a sudden as something is ignited and just a rush of flame just comes out in a cloud around it as it goes around this throne and catches both of you. You quickly move, each of you moves to either side, slamming yourself against the wall as this Brilinya and Dunala, you see the illumination of flame and the warm air rushes against you, and then just as quickly as it came, it's gone. And you can now feel, in the wake of this gas explosion, you can feel the air current more strongly coming from the other side.
I expected that to happen. That's you, Brilinya.
Really quick. For both Qualu and myself, remember we have resistance because we're within 10 feet of each other, so we have resistance to damage from spells, which would it be a spell, or is this just?
It sounded like natural gas, to be honest.
It was literally a gas pocket explosion.
Okay.
It was not a magical effect.
Well done.
Is that a feature of your paladin?
Yes, it's the aura of warding.
Awesome.
And I also have an aura of protection, so anyone within 10 feet of me, you get a +3 bonus to all saving throws.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's good to know. So yeah, you would have also gotten that would have made it a 23 for you as well, Qualu.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you guys now have you've pulled the throne out enough that if you just scooch it a little bit more, you could move around it and see what's on the other side if you choose. You do catch all of you can now catch the lingering of a rotten odor, and it's pretty clear now that some sort of gas pocket, maybe a natural gas pocket, was ignited when you open this. But that odor seems to quickly be dissipating. You actually, I would say the both of you could hear, being so close to it, you can also hear this sort of distant of rushing water and a closer sound of water, sort of almost like a babbling brook, very similar to what you heard when you were over the grate to the underground river.
Qualu's eyes, accustomed to the dark from his orcish lineage, and he'll have no issue, I think, with walking down. Just kind of, if he has to hunch to kind of fit through this corridor, he'll do so.
It's a little tight as you move through it, but you kind of move through that steel framed secret doorway, and there's a set of stairs that lead 10 feet down and sort of descend into water that is moving through a natural cavern from the west to the east.
Do the stairs descend down directly to the river, or is there some kind of
goes right down into the river?
Okay. He'll relay that back. There's a river down here. Takes us deeper out of here. Who knows?
Who knows? Let's go find out. It'll be a fun little adventure through Asolak's little death trap here.
Do you think that maybe we could take a bit of a breather?
I could go for a cat nap myself. No pun intended, but there's no pun here to intend.
Yeah. No, I'm all right with that. Let's just relax a bit, you know?
Just that we're safe now, and who knows what lays in that river.
I hope I got you, Jake.
It took me a second. There's no pun here to intend.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Qualu,
That got me good.
Can you put the throne back in front of the doorway, or the hole, just pull it back so, I don't want a Hydra 1T, another Qualu to come out of the darkness.
I'll break off the flint to not have that explosion happen again.
That is a smart idea, Qualu. I did not expect it. I was hoping you would not do that, but go ahead. Yes, do it.
How are you going to remove the flint?
With his adamantine greatsword, I think. Just chunk and just chop it off and kind of break into it.
Yeah, flint being a little not an altogether super hard substance, you basically find that you can take your greatsword, grasping one edge of the blade, and just sort of drag it down the sides, and it's an impressive shower of sparks as you do this. But in the end, I would say that you also now have a fairly sizable amount of usable flint if anybody needs it for spell components or whatever else. If you choose to, I don't know if flint is an inventory item, but you could indicate it in your extras if anybody wants to collect some of the flint.
Hey, Janala. Yeah. Give it to Janala. Give me.
I can make a fire. I can make a fire to cook things over. I can make a fire to boil water over. I can make a fire to warm your feet over. I can make a fire to these.
You can make a fire to blow people up.
No, You know it. You know me so well, Dunala. I almost called you Dunala. I am Dunala. You are Kwalu.
That is good to really just straighten out. Sometimes I get a bit confused too.
This confusing social situation we have successfully navigated it.
Nothing like the docks. There's two things the docks you have to worry about.
Too.
Damn fish and breaking your feet.
Breaking your feet. Well, wait. I don't know these fish. I'm gonna take a nap, Kwalu, and you can stay up. And when I awake, maybe you will be Dunala and I will be Kwalu, and we will continue on forward. That was a very forced laugh, but I will accept it. And then Dunala will go to take a long rest, regardless of everyone else's wishes.
You guys are gonna take a long rest?
I have no idea, actually. Dunala is just kind of like sitting down. Brilinya's like, no, wait a second.
Dunala
will knock out for at least an hour and perhaps even 8 hours.
Out of character, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to just maybe take a short rest, maybe like 2 hours or something.
Maybe 3 or 4.
What is it? It's every hour you get like 1 extra hit die? Is that what it is?
What?
For the short rest, like isn't it like
a short rest is 1 hour and you can spend as many hit dice as you want.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do as many as you want. So
I don't know why I was. Maybe I'll think of an earlier edition.
It could be.
Where that's the case. I don't.
It could be something like that. But yeah, if you guys are going to take a short rest, you can use any short rest features for healing. You can spend hit dice. If you decide you want to take a long rest, that would heal you up completely. But I'll need to know if you're setting a watch or what you're going to do. So is it just going to be a short rest?
Everyone disagrees with Dunala's methods.
So Dunala's going to get woken up after an hour.
I think I'm okay with taking a short rest, but during it, Brilinya would sit next to Vale, and she just leans over. Watch this. And she takes her hands and she makes them glow with this ethereal light. And you see this Almirage form as she spins it around, and it almost begins to hop around the dungeon floor. And as it does so, everyone here will feel this warming sensation throughout them as everyone gets 10 temporary hit points.
Dope. I like that. And there is, if you haven't used it already, there is a place on your character sheet to indicate temporary hit points.
Dunala wakes up saying, I had the strangest dream that this little Almirage was sitting on me and peeing on my chest, and I felt very happy for some reason, but in the back of my mind, I was thinking this is very odd and deviant even. You have a similar dream, Kwalu.
I was squashing the rabbits.
No. Man, Chult has really just brought your workout, hasn't it? Which I respect. I'm happy it's brought your workout, but you just like to hit things, don't you?
I mean, back in the docks, I often struggled with a purpose of life. And now, deep in the jungles of Chult, I know what I was made to do, what grubs give me the ability to do. I have a sword, I have companions, I have purpose.
You got a purpose. You started that speech.
I don't break feet anymore.
That was very poetic for you, Kwalu. It's also made you a bit of a musician, perhaps. Though there's no
actually,
here.
I was writing that on my journeys. Each night I added a word to that.
One word?
One word.
Ooh, I like the care you took on creating this song. I cannot wait to hear it once we leave here.
That was it. That was the end.
Oh. I see. Well, I look forward to what the next word will be. It will surely just boggle the imagination, make my locks even lockier.
I think the next word will be the, but I'm not sure.
Always a forward thinker, you are, Kwalu. Vale, are you feeling more like yourself, or are you still acting as if you're afraid of your own shadow?
I'm not afraid. I just you know, we're going to a place where everything in here probably wants us dead, including the water, including the stone, including everything.
What has changed since between you getting here and then you getting here, huh?
Vale, as Dunala's talking to you, you hear this almost it's a voice that's not a voice. You don't hear it so much as it comes at you almost like your own thoughts, but not your thoughts. We shouldn't be sitting here. Sitting in one place is not a good thing to do, but moving forward is dangerous too. We need to be cautious. Whatever we do, be cautious.
I know that. Don't worry about it.
See, now you're talking to yourself, Vale. That's always a bad sign when you talk to yourself in Chult. You could be bitten.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just
be careful. They're gonna try to kill you if they think something's wrong.
yeah, you're right. Maybe I am just going a bit round the bend.
That's good because I would have to kill you if I thought something was wrong. I jest, Vale. I jest.
No. That's all right. It's with the yeah.
The old yapping, the ring, maybe that.
No, it's well, it's that damn bird creature.
I also have a bird in my brain.
Bird creature. What the fuck are you talking about, Vale?
Oh, you know, Yalmirage.
That's a bird?
Thought it was, isn't it?
No, the El Mirage is the unicorn bunny.
I know that you're foreign, and
right.
That is a rabbit with a horn on its head. Very pretty until it gets angry and tries to kill you.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought that was a bird. Well then, it's fine. I mean, maybe once we get to another place or something, it should clear out.
Maybe the next curse will change you again. Let us go find out.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope. Maybe I'll have one of you grab it instead.
Nah, you should. I like it when you grab things, Vale, and that sounds very suggestive, but I mean it in the kindest, most warrior way possible.
Does it, though? I mean... All right, sure. Yeah.
And then Dunala will like start walking towards this like new opening we found, but then he'll remember only the peasants walk first, and he'll wait for Qualu to walk ahead of him.
And as if you just took your cue, Qualu just like, yep, time to go. And Qualu goes down first.
Okay.
Oh, it wasn't no, because I got possessed by Obolaka, right? The Zorbo?
Right, which is also not a bird.
Oh, no?
It's a monkey. A little asshole monkey demon.
The Zorbo, the Zorbo's kind of like a monkey. The Sioux monster is kind of like a demon koala.
Yeah.
I always get the two mixed up.
Oh, why would you do that to koalas? They don't,
They're smooth-brained idiots.
I don't know, ask Qualu.
Have you ever seen a koala when it's wet?
Yeah, that's pretty much what a Sioux monster looks like, a wet koala.
Fair enough.
All right, so Qualu, you've descended the stairs first.
Speaking of a koala getting wet, Qualu descends down to the riverbank.
So, as you descend
Dunala
down,
will follow behind him.
You see that the water, this twisting, winding cavern of stone seems to be naturally formed by the water running through it. The ceiling is about 10 feet above it. There's just the faintest odor of that gaseous smell that you ignited. In this area that you are currently in, it appears to be about a 30 or 40 foot section that moves east to west. Looking to your right, you can see that it curves around to the south. Looking to your left, you see it curves back around to the north, which you can surmise would take it on a course that would go under the walkway where you saw the grate before. It is from the direction to the right, which is the west, where it curves southward. that you can hear the sound of rushing water.
Dunala, will you speak to this water and have it part for us?
Well, before we do that, Brilinya, can you come down here and make me a light, please?
Oh, yeah.
You forget I can't see down here anymore.
Of course. Brilinya would come down, and she has just a very, very small dagger that is not even used, can't be used for anything, but she has it, and she would light it with light.
And when she lights it, Dunala, one of shape water, the cantrip's properties, I can change the opacity of water. And he will basically like move a hand over the water, and as he does so, like a 5-foot block of water will just become completely crystal clear. He's basically doing this and then saying, I want to see if there's any kind of spikes at the bottom of the river, any kind of holes, any kind of bad rocks.
Any fish? Damn fish.
You see that it's kind of a weird, you almost have to struggle with this spell a little bit because you're doing this to moving water.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sort of holding it in place in this section. So it's kind of waffling back and forth a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You see no debris churning through the water. You see smooth, water-worn stone underneath. That's more or less flat. It's got a slight curvature to it, but nothing that appears dangerous. No sudden sharp pits, no spikes. It's not super deep. It looks like it's in fact only about 2.5 to 3 feet deep.
Well, it looked very deep. Qualu, you know what to do.
I don't stomp, do I?
Never.
And he like shudders at the idea of stomping. And then he'll like try to take a step in with the water. He'll like try and like brace himself on the cave wall too, to not get swept away.
If you stomp, you break a hole in.
What shape water can do is I can reverse the flow of water. I want to reverse the flow of water like right beside Dunalis, so it's not like pushing again. Not Dunalis, sorry, Qualu. Just in case it's like us.
The water's not really rushing. It's moving, okay, but it's not. As you step into it, it's kind of like stepping into a slow-moving river. You can feel the current, but you don't have to struggle against it.
Awesome. Yeah, so just like begin to wade through it.
Which way are you going? Towards the sound of the rushing water, or in the direction that would take you back the way you came, but underneath?
Which way is it flowing, by the way?
Say again?
Like, which way is it flowing, by the way?
It's flowing in a direction that would take you toward where you walked over it.
Okay.
I think that way leads to outside.
Now that you're here in this area, that sound, you can all hear that sound of rushing water, and it sounds like a waterfall.
But that way is probably a waterfall.
You are so astute, Qualu. I say we walk so if the water is flowing away from the waterfall is above us. So let us then go the opposite way of the waterfall and follow the water this way. Huh? Yeah. And as we're walking, he's going to keep casting shape water on the opacity of the water that we're walking towards. Just that way we don't like slip away or die.
And are you holding this dagger that Brilinya cast light onto?
If she would hand it to me.
Or was... Because you're the only one that can't see, right?
Yeah.
If you want it, Brilinya would hand it to you.
Thank you. And he will just basically like have the dagger out in front of him and manipulating the water with his free hand.
And Qualu will just like wade. Leading the way, of course, as Qualu does.
All right.
He's got a lot of hit points, so it's fine for him to be in the lead.
Oops.
Like, there's a steep drop off here.
I'm gonna be in the back in between Dunala and Brilinya. Not all the way and not kicking up the rear, but also not in front either. So at least two people can like die to something before it gets to me. And one person can die if anything sneaks up on us before it gets to me.
How majestic of you, Vale, to be watching my back and not the back of the love of your life, Brilinya, who is behind you.
I'm okay.
Giving her a view.
It's fine. See, I'm close to Brill in case something happens.
But you're not looking at the Brill. Every time we don't look at Brill, and this is not saying that you are holding us back, Brill. But a lot of the time, if we're not looking at the Brill happens to get kidnapped, and given we've killed everyone who's been kidnapping her, I'm just saying, you have a better history of being stabbed than she does.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. I'm gonna make sure that she's safe, right? If something comes up behind and she,
I cannot wait for the next curse.
Are you guys just standing there discussing this, or are you moving as you're discussing?
We're moving.
Definitely moving. Definitely moving.
Who's in the lead, Qualu?
Yeah.
Or Dunala? Because you were sort of...
Qualu's in the lead.
Meat shields in the front.
Okay.
Yep.
Then glass
100
cannon.
and some hit points in the front right now.
Yep. Then glass cannon.
Okay.
Then the cowardly paladin. And then the brains and the power behind this entire operation, Brilinya, is in the back.
So you begin walking, and it's like I said, the water's only about 2.5, 3 feet. It sort of changes as the bottom sort of moves almost in like waves under the water. After about 40 or 50 feet, you find yourself walking under an area where you can see that metal grate, circular grate above you. That was the area that you walked past, where you walked over the river. You continue for another 30 feet or so, and the river turns sharply to the right. Qualu, as you come around the bend, you see standing with its back to you in about mid-thigh deep water is a skeleton. The skeleton has thick metal around its wrists, some sort of thick metal collar, and you see protruding from its skull about 18 inches above is carved steel in the shape of a triangle. I would like everybody to make me a stealth check. Should have had it done as you were walking, but we'll do it now.
Dunala has a 13.
A 7.
All right, I've heard a 7 and a 13.
I got a 15. I don't know how that happened, but Qualu got a 15.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I should probably roll because that would be the smart thing to do. I'm looking up to see if like, hey, this isn't a saving throw, and no, that
A
is
7 or 13. What did Dunala get?
Oh, I got a 13. Qualu got a 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only Marquise is allowed to mix this up.
Yeah. You're 17.
And Vale,
Yeah,
you
come
got...
on now, you. I actually got a 23.
Okay. You all are kind of splashing around quite a bit. And Qualu, as you come around and you see this skeleton standing there, you sort of make a splashing sound and stop as you get around the corner. And you hear this sort of as it rotates its body and looks over its shoulder at you and then turns to face you. You see that this skeleton is holding in each of its hands a dagger. It looks at you and it starts to walk backwards.
That is bait.
It places a hand, or rather a foot, sort of bends its ankle or its knee, places a foot on the stone wall, and then places its other foot on the stone wall and begins walking backwards up the wall until it is on the ceiling about 10 feet in front of you. Because of the height of the ceiling, there is a sort of crossover of about 2 feet or so where it's looking right at you, holding these daggers and now sort of blocking the passage.
Quali will whisper back to Dunala, "Let me do that and I'll fight him."
Wait. I have a new trick I want to try. If you really want to do it, I can let you do it. But I have a trick.
Let me walk on those walls and I'll smash the bones to
I can't
smithereens.
make you walk on the walls, Quali.
It's hanging down enough that you can, if you were to reach out, you'd be able to touch like its chest.
Like, listen, you can swing your sword. I'm not saying don't do it, but I have a really cool trick. But I know you like to swing your sword. And I like it when you like to swing your sword. So if you want to swing your sword, don't just stare at me. Make a decision. What do you want?
Just like, I'm waiting for the trick, or I'm gonna.
Listen. It's been a long. I did 1 hour nap anyway, and he will turn towards this thing, and he's gonna like close one eye and like line up a hand, and he'll pull his left hand back and throw it forward. And as he does so, you see these beautiful sparking vines of electricity go flying from his arm and his wrist, jade and emerald, and jade and sapphire in color. And he's casting a lightning lure on this skeleton, or whatever the fuck it is. And he's gonna make a strength saving throw. I will be pulling it 10 feet towards me in a straight line. So kind of just like throwing it behind me, not Brilinya.
Can I like get my greatsword ready to like swing it like a baseball bat, just at this thing as it flies towards me?
So okay, so it needs to make a strength saving throw to resist being pulled towards you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be, well, that's a 2 on the die. So I'm pretty sure that it
I
fails.
should roll the damage too. It's also going to take 5 points of lightning damage. Lightning damage.
Only 5, huh?
Yeah. Cantrips, what can I say? And then, so basically, I'm just like flinging it back and trying to rip it off the ceiling into the ground with this lightning lure.
So you're trying to pull it off of the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that because it rolled a 2 on its strength saving throw, that you sort of reach out, just lashing it with this lightning. You yank, and as the lightning's still entwined around it, you just rip it off of the ceiling. It splashes down into the water in front of Qualu. And after a brief moment, you watch as the water parts around it as it rises up with a clatter of bones still intact.
Oh, I'll go to there and that's trick.
But I believe, Qualu, you were readying an opportunity to swing away.
Absolutely. Just lop this thing's head off if I can, or just sever its bones, turn it to bone dust, whatever. If you'll let me make an attack roll,
Yep.
I will absolutely do one.
Absolutely.
That's going to be a total of 24 to hit.
Okay.
Jesus.
Go ahead and roll damage.
I get to re-roll that 1. For 7 plus 6... No, 7 plus 8 is 15 points of magical slashing damage.
Qualu, as it rises and you swing your blade, which for some reason I immediately picture a half-orc version of the hero on the cover of Hero Quest, with the guy with the awkward crouch holding his sword unnecessarily at arm's length, and you swing away. You meet no resistance whatsoever as you cut through this skeleton, and it completely shatters. All of the bones, many of them turning into dust and begin floating away, except for the head. The head stays intact, and this heavy metal fused piece sticking out of the top, you see as it hits the water with a splash and sinks to the bottom, and you feel the weight of it, more than a skull should weigh, as it lands at the bottom of this river next to your feet. You have completely obliterated the skeleton.
That is not a... I don't like it.
You don't want a relic for your journeys, huh?
Listen, Colo, that has a weird middle thing coming out of it. It's clearly a trap. But you know that we like to trigger traps, Qualu.
Vale does. Let him handle
You're
it.
right. Yo, Vale, can you come pick this up for me? Ah, yes, I forgot you.
Have none of that. Yep, nope. If you want that thing, you just go right ahead. Put your hands right in and grab it.
All right. And then I'll just start walking back down the river.
Perhaps Polly will do what it is he needs to do.
So
And stomp on it.
I would like you stomp on it and open a hole into the Tomb of the 10 Gods, and even worse, a Serac dungeon.
Oh no. There's one more god.
Yeah.
It's a darker timeline.
You stomping
All
on
of the
it?
trickster gods have goatees.
Oh no.
I would like you guys all to roll an insight check.
Ooh. I don't suck at those.
I'm rolling so bad this game.
I got a 20. I'm
I have a passive insight that's pretty high. Can I use that?
How high is it?
17.
Okay.
Or do I
Mine's-
need to, or should I roll for it? I don't know.
I set it a really low DC. I just wanted to make sure you guys weren't going to completely whiff this one. And
I got a nat 20 for a total of 20.
this is partly for Marquise's benefit because he wasn't here in that session. You recall the words that were carved into the obelisk before you entered the tomb. When you read them, they were carved in common. It says, the entire thing says, "Fear the night when the Forsaken One seizes death's mantle, and the seas dry up and the dead rise, and I, Serac the Eternal, reap the world of the living. Those who dare enter take heed. The enemies oppose. One stands between them. In darkness it hides. Don the mask or be seen. Speak no truth to the doomed child. The keys turn on the inside only."
Do you think those masks that you burned, Vale, you should have kept?
Yeah, I'm not gonna
No, you're
lie.
supposed-
I really think I screwed things up there.
Put the head on your head.
Okay. Sure. And he will pick up the head and put it on his head.
I will also say, Vale, with your passive insight,
You realize that you just whiffed it for everyone.
with your passive insight, you see now as, was it Qualu, you picked the skull up out of the water? Or is it just lying there?
Dunala did.
Okay. As Dunala picks it up, just sort of as the way, Dunala's kind of doing this, like putting it on top of his head just to see if it fits. But as he does so, it's leaning towards you, and you're looking down from what would be a top-down perspective almost at this metallic protrusion that seems fused to bone. And you realize, though it's an odd shape and it's large and on a skull, it does kind of look like a key almost. It reminds you of a key you might find on an ordinary door. They're commonly referred to as skeleton keys.
Whoa. Does Vale tell us this?
I do. Oh yeah.
You must wear the key on your head then.
I don't think. Well,
Makes perfect sense. It is a mask.
No,
could it be?
I don't think that's how it works. But we should.
Are you a Serac? Do you know these things? Did you make this tomb?
I am of Chult, and I know these things.
I am of Chult as well, and you may be chosen of Uptal, but me and Qualu, we're Chultan. And we know these kinds of things.
I mean, if you want to wear it on your head, go right.
I don't, but if my boy is wearing one on his head, I have to wear one on my head too. It's been a long time coming.
All right. Well, why don't we keep going before something else comes up and tries to eat us, or kill us, or kill us and eat us, or eat us and then kill us?
That's more likely. But this dude.
Qualu will be eaten last because he is tough.
Qualu. Yeah, actually, you're probably right, Qualu. They will definitely eat you last. And you will be second to last.
That's true. That's true.
The beast
Mind
will have
you,
difficulty ripping my muscles from my bones.
I mean, all
That's
right.
so. And then Dunal's walking as he's doing this, like walking past Qualu. And he has the skeleton key on his head.
Okay. To put it on your head, you have to sort of hold it there.
Yeah,
It won't just stay, but...
Oh, wait. That means both my hands... Okay, he will hand the dagger back to Brilinya. And then, Brilinya, you walk beside me so that way Vale is properly in the back. And then he will use his free hand to keep casting Shape Water. And the other hand to keep the skeleton key on his head.
So you're holding the skeleton key on your head.
Yeah, I don't want to get, like, washed away or stolen.
I don't want to get it wet. Yeah, I don't want to rust or anything.
Yeah, that's what
You
it
do
is.
you, man. You do you.
All right.
Like, Qualu will take whatever sort of lead is available here.
Okay. I mean, what do you even say to that?
Okay, so you continue walking. And you walk for quite a while. This entire passage seems to meander north and then east for a ways. After about 5 minutes or so, you find that it's moving eastward and then begins sort of tracking in a southerly direction, sort of looping back around. Another 5 minutes pass, and you begin to hear the echoing sound of rushing water. This sounds much like the waterfall before, but it has a much more pronounced echo, and it seems as though the heaviest sound of falling water is coming from a far distance. As you round a bend, you see on the southern part of the chamber a stairway leading up. It is in a 5-foot carved hallway. It rises 10 feet into a hallway. You can either go up the stairs or you can continue along the river.
I say one of us, Vale, goes up the stairs, and the other three of us keep going down the river. But I know Vale won't stand for that one, so I guess we all go up the stairs.
Or maybe we just keep following the river and not take any unnecessary risks.
But we took an unnecessary risk going into the river, which got us this cool key I'm wearing on my head, which we need, according to the riddle that Aesorak has left us to kill us later on. So I say that we cross our T's or dot our I's or whatever kind of letters we have in the Chultan language, and then we go up the stairs.
Yeah, fine. But
If you want to go down, we can put it to a vote.
No, I'm not going
Well, if you listen,
by
you
myself.
can hear perhaps this river ends at a fall.
I don't
Do
know
you wish
what
to
to
fall?
do. You want to go for a swim?
It won't be a swim.
No, there's probably things in the water as well. There's probably things in the water.
Things above us.
We are in the water.
We Qualo brings up a fantastic point. We are the things in the water.
Well, there could be other things with pointy teeth, quippers.
We have pointy teeth.
Oh,
I'm
quippers.
Well,
I do not like quippers.
I also don't like quippers. All right, we will go up the stairs in, and Qualo will lead, and then I will go, and then Brilinya will go, and then Vale will go.
Wait, what? Why am I? Never mind. Let's just go. Let's just go. Go.
Take your time, Qualo.
No, don't take your time.
Right. Qualu looks around and steps up those stairs.
Okay. You walk up the stairs and you see a 15-foot long hallway that ends in stone.
I must say this is a very strange path. One might have to walk. I do not think the person who built this place
It's
built it to
clearly
live in.
a fake hallway. Like if you go and you start hitting the wall.
Oh.
Yeah, see, now we're all in sync with his head.
If you wish, I could try to see through it. The wall at the end.
Brilinya,
I thought I had good eyes.
the mythful dove, how great and wonderful you are in every possible way. Truly, Vale does not deserve you. Go ahead, see through the walls.
I cannot tell if you're making fun of me or not, but
I have never made fun of you. Except for that one time I did, but that was a long time ago and I was a 1T.
all right. And Berlina's eyes again will just burst into this ethereal light, and she's going to use her ghostly gaze once again.
Okay. As you do so, you look into a room in which you see, in general, this room that you can see into, you actually realize that immediately that you are looking through a thin piece of stone that seems to have as your eyes just sort of push through it, you see the mechanism of a hinge this is probably a secret door. You're looking into a room that is 30 feet by 30 feet, but all along the walls that you can see, there are tiny little holes. In the center of this room, this is what you see. Skulls crusted with dried mud glower from niches cut into the walls of this tomb. A stone sarcophagus stands at the center of the chamber, and its lid is adorned with a coiled serpent carved in relief. Behind the sarcophagus, resting atop a marble pedestal, is an ornate crystal box with a small humanoid skull floating inside it. Additionally, on the westernmost wall, you can see that in the center of the westernmost wall, it sort of curves in. It has a sort of bowl shape from floor to ceiling. You appear to be looking into another crypt, possibly of one of the trickster gods.
So Brilinya would, after she blinks and her eyes turn back to normal, she would relay this information back to the group.
Holes in the wall mean poison darts or something similar. And I believe, Burl, you have a spell for that, I think. Or maybe Vale did. I'm not sure, one of you two did.
Brilinya, you would actually notice that these holes in the wall are different than the ones that held the poison darts were all about 1 inch in diameter, were uniformly spaced, and all identical. These holes that you see are at irregular intervals. They range from 2 to 5 inches in diameter and have the look of pitting all around them, looking as if something has either struck the wall or dug into it.
No, I don't think that they are poison arrows. It doesn't look right. It looks almost like something tried to burrow.
You say this wall is thin? Ha! I have a sword of starstone. I have cut both trees and mountains down with this thing. Ha! Ha ha! It will not be in our way longer.
Cool. We all knew what you just said. We already knew, and what you're about to do, we already knew you're going to do it. But thank you for telling us. I appreciate the thoughtfulness.
Are we wanting to go into this room?
Do you not want to go into the room?
It wouldn't be
It
wouldn't be a terrible idea, but someone else should go in first. Like I don't know, Qualu.
Well, Qualu.
I don't see anyone else here that's willing to wield this sword of star metal.
I can't wield it.
You know, you have a serious relationship with your sword. It's very touching, and I would love to come to the wedding, but maybe we should just press on.
I'm not to marry this thing.
Why would he marry it, Vale? It's weird.
Well, I mean, the way he's talking to it, I'm just... Look, let's just go. Can we just go forward? Let's just go forward.
I like to imagine, like, Qualu and do not, like, share a glance. Like, what is he saying? And just, like, turning back to the fucking wall.
He has gone crazy, that man.
He has gone crazy. It happens. This is bound to happen at some point.
And Jake, I would like to use my adamantine greatsword to strike at this thin stone wall to break it asunder, knowing full well that my hits against objects are treated as critical hits.
Brilinya.
Adamantine.
As Kualu is contemplating cutting into this door and making way, you do remember that you saw a hinged mechanism on it, that it functions much like a door. So unless you're going to stop him, Kualu's going to attack the door.
I want Brilinya to go up to the door to look at it, but I think Kualu has already had his mind.
This is a 5-foot hallway, so you'd have to, like, as he's trying to, make his swing, you'd have to get in the arc of that swing to do so.
Yeah, Berlinda's not going to... I think she would just lift a finger and just try to say something. But
you're interrupted with the sound of, like, adamantine striking stone.
I believe, since this door is an object, you crit automatically against objects. So just go ahead and roll damage at crit damage. Automatic max damage, then roll your dice.
While he's doing this, Dunal will turn to Brilinya and say, "There's like a hinge or like a something to open the door, isn't there?"
Yes, yes, there is.
And that's when you hear.
So I'm doing my so 14 and 8 is 22 plus 18 is 40. 40 points of damage.
God, Jesus.
Kualu, this stone door shatters in front of you, inward into the room. Stone scuttling along the floor, flying across. And the room lies before you in exactly the way Brilinya described it. As the door bursts open and the stone scuttles along the floor, you hear a voice in your mind. In fact, all of you hear a voice in your mind. This voice is that of a young girl. And it says, "What's happening? Why can't I see?" And that is where we're going to take our break. I've never wished more to have Megan's ability to do a small child's voice with the sound design, but I had no idea where you guys were going to go tonight either. So we're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break, during which we will run some advertisements and whatnot that I realize are a little outdated, but I'm going to be updating those very soon. Well, Marquise is apparently doing a supine bicycle exercise. I'm not really sure. We're gonna take a break, gather our wits, and we'll be back in 10 minutes for the purposes of finishing this session. We'll see you back here in 10 minutes. And we're back. Kualu, you have just broken open the secret door, revealing the room. You see the sarcophagus, and behind it on a pedestal, the crystal case that holds a glowing skull. And as the stone remnants of the door clatter across the floor, you hear, all of you hear, in your mind, the voice of a young girl saying, "What's happening? Why can't I see?" What would you like to do?
Did all you hear that?
Who was that? What was one of you?
That was me.
It was you? Dunal?
Yeah, it was me.
Your voice is really high and sweet, and it,
I'm a trained.
Oh, you didn't know him before his adulthood came to be.
Yeah, when I was a little boy, I had a very high voice.
All right, fair enough.
No, anyway. Well, Kualu, what do you want to do? Do you want to go in and just attack things, or you want me to fireball things? Or
Why can't I see anything?
Oh my God, here we go on these again.
Who's there?
I am Kualu. I have no title, for I need none.
Are you friends with my father? Is he looking for me?
Wait,
Dunala. Is Dunala your father?
Qualu, listen.
I am listening.
Asarak was like, in the little, don't tell the weird little girl the truth.
Is Asarak a little girl?
Listen, wait, you're getting it mixed up. Listen, we have to lie. That is the trick, we have to lie. Say the opposite. It's opposite day.
I am Asarak, the father of a little girl.
I need you to make a charisma deception check.
That's going to be a -6. All right, let's see. No, I'm kidding. That's going to be a flat 0. For a total of 6. There we go.
Okay. You lie. You are not who you say you are.
You are not who you
And
say
you would
you
notice as you hear this, the skull in the crystal case flares for a moment.
Oh shit!
Huh. Now that's something I can smash.
wait.
How did I get here?
You are inside of Waters Deep, and you are blind.
Where is Waters Deep again?
It's somewhere north. I don't know. I've never been there.
Dunala, make a charisma deception check.
Oh, hell yes. That's Dunala's thing. Okay, that roll was terrible. I got a 14.
You could do domain die.
Oh, you're right.
Save those for when we actually need them. You don't need this for a little girl.
I will use the domain die.
I'm in water deep.
All right, Yes, you are in water deep.
How did I get here?
Well, you see.
What was the last thing you remember?
Vale, Vale, you have to remember.
We're in Waters Deep.
No.
The deep is very water here. The water is very deep here. We must talk like we're underwater.
And then Vale looks like he's about to start saying something that's like truthful. Dunala will cover his mouth to make him sound like he's on the water.
I'm gonna move his hand away and just say
No.
You're going to have to try to move his hand away if you want to speak.
All right, I'm gonna try and move his hand away, but I'm gonna look at Dunala and quietly say, "Why? What's the big deal? Why can't we?"
Because the riddle says, listen, if we don't do opposite day, we will be blown up by this giant skull. Do you want to be blown up, Vale?
There's a skull here?
No, there's no skull. I'm talking about my head. Well, also...
Dunala, make a wisdom or a charisma deception check.
Oh, man, this is getting worse. I got a 13.
I thought you said there was a skull here.
I didn't say that. Why would I say that? Listen, little girl, mind your own business and let us little girl talk for a moment.
He said school, like school of fish. Because here we are deep in Waters Deep.
Qualu, make a deception check.
5.
My brain hurts. I'm confused.
I don't think I'm in water. You're lying to me.
Okay, Qualu.
Where are you, child?
I don't know where I am. How did I get here? Where is my father? Is he looking for me?
Can Brilinya distinguish the voice, or is it just in her head?
It's coming. All of you hear this voice in your head.
Dunala's going to take the other sending stone that he has, because he got the pair from Ras Nasi when we killed him. He's going to hand the other sending stone to Brilinya. And then he will send a mental message to her saying, the soulmonger eats souls. If she was truly a dead girl, she would be in the soulmonger. Clearly, she is not in the soulmonger. And then I feel like at some point, like he's saying this, it would get cut off by the word limit. But he would get the gist across.
Perhaps we could help her.
There is no her. She is in the soulmonger. This is a fake.
Brilinya is going to enter the room and start kind of looking around, keeping her distance from the skull.
So, hold on a second. The message that you send, Dunala, you have to speak aloud. to send
Ah,
it.
shit. I guess I wouldn't do that then.
I feel like you would know that. I just wanted to double check that. You
Mhm.
do, in fact, have to speak out loud. The person receiving the message hears it in their mind.
So you
Does
just whisper. You just whisper.
Brilinya speak Celestial, right? Wait, do I speak Celestial? What do I speak? Yeah, I speak Celestial. Sick. All right. He's going to speak to you in Celestial. So it sounds to everyone else like he's almost kind of like singing to Brilinya, and the words are just sound like just notes. And he's basically communicating to you what I just communicated to you of the soulmonger. This is probably a trap. There's no little girl here, he thinks.
Yeah, and in response, Brilinya says in Celestial as well, I'm going to go ahead and have a look.
I hear beautiful music. Where is that coming from? Hello?
Don't answer, he says in Celestial. And then in Chulton, he says to Qualu, don't answer. And then the Vale, he just shakes his head like,
Brilinya is going to start walking around.
Where did you go? Why don't I hear you anymore? Please. Why are you ignoring me? And the skull flares brightly again. And the voice changes in pitch and timbre. It still sounds like the little girl's, but this time it has that distorted sound of like it's 10, 15, 20 voices at different pitches. Why are you ignoring me? Why won't you tell me where I am? The skull, the case the skull is in shatters. The skull bursts into flame, its eyes alight with red, fiery flame. Green flames curling off of the skull as it rises from the pedestal and turns towards you all. And I need you to roll initiative, as you now must fight the flaming skull.
Knew it.
Those failed charisma saves, charisma checks are kind of did you in.
thanks, Qualu. Dunala has a 19.
All right, hold on a second. Let's see. So that's
All right, I wasted a nat 20, but I got a 24.
1 second.
No,
Okay. Vale, you got a 24.
I did.
Dunala, what did you have?
19.
Brilinya.
18.
Qualu.
14. We're in descending order.
Okay.
Thankfully, though, that means I get to be the first one to run away, and you suckers get to deal with it. I'm
Go
kidding.
last, which means I'm the last one to get eaten, as I prophesized.
Nice.
All right, Vale, you're up first.
All right.
What are you going to do against this flaming skull?
Yeah, I run away. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, and just a little thing to anyone else who's like, wanting to role play more. So if my character is supposed to be a bit more like cautious and cowardly, that's one thing. But if you take an entire player out of a battle, then it's what my player would do that lands into a TPK, and that's not cool.
No.
I mean, it isn't. It really isn't. So I'm going to. Interesting. I'm going to attack. I don't really want to, but I'm going to. And that's not the right button. That's the right button. Or is that the right button? That's the right button. Yeah, I'm going to go in and I'm going to attack this thing with my magic rapier.
Okay.
And probably even turn into a divine smite, but we'll have to see how that works out. Oh dang! So that's a 28 to hit.
That will indeed hit the flaming skull.
All right, I'm definitely going to turn that into a divine smite.
This is an undead creature,
Dope.
which means I believe you get an extra at least one D8.
That's good because I'm going to do this at 3rd level. So, yeah. Just double check on that one. Divine Smite. Where are you? There you are. So, 2d8 extra. So that's for 1, 2, 3. So that's 48, and then 5d8 is what I'm going to be rolling.
All right, so this is probably going to be the case for most of the actual tomb. I'm going to need to know your weapon damage, damage type, and spell damage separately.
Roger that.
You're going to run into a lot more things that have different types of immunities or resistances.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. All right, so first let's do the actual magical piercing. So magical piercing is going to be 8.
Okay.
That's with the damage bonus that I have.
Yep.
So that's out of the way. Then as far as radiant, let's see, so we got 11, 13, and 23. So 23 points of radiant damage and 8 points of magical piercing.
You hear as you strike the skull, and this blinding in the other than the light from the skull, which does illuminate the room, and the light from Brilinya's illuminated dagger, suddenly this bright radiant light flares out from your strike, and you hear this voice cry out, "Why are you hurting me?" And the skull is knocked asunder for a moment and then rights itself. You did not destroy it.
That's fine. I got another attack.
Oh.
And that's a 19, and then I rolled a nat 18. So that's a 27 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm about to say, like, Jesus, if a 28 hits, we better book it. Like, let's do our best Roadrunner impersonation and skedaddle. But I'm not going to make this a Divine Smite. Cool. And that's going to be 11 points of magical piercing damage.
Okay.
And then that's me.
Okay. Stop hurting me! Dunala, it's your turn.
Qualu, you know what to do. And as he says this, he raises his left hand. And you see where the jade scales used to cover his arms when he was a Yuan-Ti. Replacing them are these very beautiful, intricate tattoos of Chult creatures in the sapphire and jade ink. These creatures literally burst off of his arm, brilliant in color, and they will jump onto Qualu's back, covering his entire back, his arms, his face in these tattoos, as I cast the haste spell on him. And then he will let Qualu unleash himself. But then the tattoos will duplicate themselves, jumping from Qualu all the way to where Vale is as I twin the spell. So you are both hasted. And as a result, let me tell you your favorite little buffs here. Your AC increases by 2, advantage on dex saving throws, and you get an additional action on your turn that can be used to attack, dash, disengage, or hide. If you attack, only 1 extra attack, not 3 or 2. And then once the spell is cast, Dunala will whistle for Brilinya to follow him back into the hallway so that we don't get whacked.
All right, so you have hasted the two of them. And that's what you're doing? Hello? Wait. Are you moving?
I hasted two of them and I moved back to the thing. I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I had unplugged my headphone wire a little bit, and I wasn't sure if I was if I was hearing you correctly. Okay, so then it becomes Brilinya's turn.
Brilinya is going to follow Dunala into the hallway, but before she does that, she is going to let off 2 Eldritch Blasts in succession at this thing. But you see, even as she does so, there are just tears streaming down her face as she doesn't feel good about hitting what sounds like a child to her. And that is going to be a 21 and a 24 to hit.
Yes.
Okay.
You said Eldritch Blast, and for some reason in my mind I heard Magic Missile. Eldritch Blast is force damage, correct?
Yes, that is force damage.
Okay.
And that is going to be 24 points of force damage. And it also pushes the thing.
Brilinya, as you
back.
unleash these 2 Eldritch Blasts into this flaming skull with the voice of a little girl in your head, what does it look like when you destroy it?
So, Brilinya, I can almost imagine that she had followed in a little bit, so she's almost behind it. So you see it facing the others, and you see it begins to glow this bright light that is associated with Brilinya, this almost ethereal light. And the skeleton begins to crack, glowing with this light, and eventually just disintegrates.
As the flame from this floating, flaming skull disintegrates and the flame just sort of carries out along the pieces, you see shadows dancing around the room. And then those of you looking into the room or in the room with night vision, with dark vision, you see it's not just the shadows that are dancing. You hear this sort of sound as small forms begin pouring out by the dozens, by the hundreds, as swarms of what appear to be spiders are spilling out of all of these holes, and they begin rushing towards all of you. Now, Dunala and Brilinya, you backed up into the hallway. Qualu and Vale, you're still in the room, correct? Vale and Qualu, you will be each attacked by 3 swarms of spiders. As they begin crawling, biting, and swarming over you, or attempting to bite, you see that these spiders look much like a spider that has died and becomes a hollow husk. These are mummified looking undead spiders. So I'm going to make, first to Vale, I'm going to make 3 attacks against you. The first one is an 18, followed by a 9 and an 11. Do any of those hit you? So you're just getting swarmed by these spiders, but none of them are biting you. You hear their scuttling. You hear the sound of their dry husk bodies scurrying across you, crawling across your hands, your face, in your hair, across your armor. Qualu, the same thing's happening to you, as that is goodness. A 9, a 12, and an 18.
Last one will hit, yeah.
So the last little bit finds its way across. You feel several small bites. And you will take 7, 9, 10, 11 points of piercing damage, but I have to check something real quick. Because these...
Activate Barbarian Rage! I'm just kidding.
These are... it doesn't specify, so I'm not going to give them the poison. And they're undead anyway. Let me just double check. Okay. So you take that biting damage, and now it is your turn, Qualu, as you have 3 swarms of spiders swarming over you.
I mean, I don't quite know how narratively this will work, but I would like to make some great sword attacks on the swarm of spiders that are crawling over me. Whether that's just like batting them using even like the flat of the blade, or
I won't make you do damage to yourself. I feel like you know how to use your weapon enough to sort of scrape at them, crush them between the blade and your armor, scrape them off of you and stomp on them. However you do it, you can still use your greatsword to make the attacks.
Awesome. I'll use my bonus action to activate my fighting spirit as I really steel myself for this, as spiders are pretty nasty foes.
As a reminder, is your sword magical?
Absolutely it is. Yes.
Okay. I guess that doesn't matter anyway.
All right, so I'm going to make some attack rolls.
Yep, you're going to make 3 attack rolls as you're attacking 3 different swarms.
Oh, that's right. I'm haste. That's right. Aha. There we go.
Or
Okay,
sorry,
so
that's wrong anyway. You don't attack based on the number of enemies.
I'm like, where did I get this
I
third
said
attack
that, and I'm
from?
like, that does not sound right. You just
Okay.
automatically get 1 attack against each enemy.
Yeah,
I know how to play D&D.
Yeah. All right.
You get the attacks you normally get.
My attacks are a 15, a 30, and a 19.
All of them are going to hit. How do you want to distribute those? Do you want to like dump them into one swarm and then just use spillover damage into the next swarm?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, sounds good.
Yep. So that's going to be. I'll reroll both of those. Thank you, fighter feature. Okay, that's going to be 14 magical slashing, and then 15 magical slashing, and then 15 magical slashing.
You managed to scrape away a good chunk. You're noticing that these undead spiders, many of them are quick to move out of the way, and you can't quite damage as many of them as you were hoping. But you do manage to take out 1/3 of the spiders accosting you.
Awesome. And that'll be my turn.
Okay. Then that is going to take us back to the top of the order. Vale, you have 3 swarms crawling around and over you.
Okay. So, like, they're all crawling on me.
Some of them are on the ground, swirling around you, but for all intents and purposes, you're engaged with them.
Are a lot of them within 5 feet?
All of them.
Perfect. I'm going to cast Moonbeam on myself.
Oh,
At
you
3rd
get
level.
that because you are a paladin of nature.
I am one of them hippie paladin types. And yeah, I cast it on myself. I'm going to take damage, but it's worth it.
Are you going to take damage?
I mean, it just says when a creature enters a spell's area for the first time on a turn or start its turn there, it is engulfed in ghostly flames that cause searing pain. I mean, it doesn't say that it doesn't damage me, but I would wager that it should.
Yeah.
At least you get resistance on it, an advantage or something because of your guardian paladinness.
Yes, that is also true. That is also true.
Yep.
But they're going to make a con save of 15.
But that'll be on the start of their turn. When a creature enters the spell's area for the first time. Oh,
So
yeah. So, yeah. You're right.
Area.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, they need to make con saves. So, I'm going to make a save for each of the swarms.
Actually, I'd like you to make a save for each and every spider in said swarm.
All right. Well, this game just became 4 hours long. Welcome to Dice Rolling on MTD.
Yeah, so please roll me 1400 D20.
All right. So these are all con saves. All of them are single digit, so they're all going to fail.
Dope.
So what's the damage?
It is 3D10.
Wow.
Yep. Huh. I'm going to need... Oh, no, I'll use that one as a D10, even though it's a D100. Oh, and there you go. Hey, great. All right. So we got 8, 14... 14 and 9 is so 23 points of radiant damage.
Vale, I'm going to let you narratively describe how this moonbeam just destroys all 3 swarms.
Sure. Oh, and actually, sorry, give me 1 sec, because I will also take...
yes, you're going to take whatever
points, yeah.
amount of that damage as well.
No, I got resistance, so it's half that. Someone can do the math for me on that.
What was it, 29 that you did? Or
23.
23, so that'll be
What was that?
11.
Thanks. Don't worry, folks. I know my math. Just not exactly. Funny enough, though, that took all of my temp hit points off, so I only got 1 point of damage from that. There you go. So I think as the others kind of like look on, they kind of see like dust motes beginning to kind of start to circle, and the ground kind of just beginning to vibrate as this kind of like this light, it just starts appearing from nowhere, and it just gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and you just hear the like sounding. It almost sounds like popcorn popping as these like dried, desiccated spiders just begin to like pop and like blow off into dust. Even me though, like getting a very rapid sunburn. I get searing pain, but at the same time, the skin just kind of seems to knit very, very quickly, and we're just left with the smell of burning chitin.
Not even chitin, because they were undead spiders, so they just sort of sizzle and burn.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Dunala, there are still 2 swarms of these things inside the room, swarming around Qualu. Did you just nope your way out of there completely? Or?
No. Dunala he's having a problem right now. He could destroy the swarms instantaneously, or he could just watch Qualu do it. But he does know that Qualu has a very deep-seated need for adrenaline, and nothing can give you adrenaline more than a giant fireball going off. Unfortunately, Vale is right there as well, and the fireball would hit him. So he scraps that idea, and he will weave his left hand in the air. The tattoos covering Qualu begin to kind of bubble and glisten as insects of jade and sapphire will crawl out of them, as he's going to cast Infestation on one of the swarms to fight fire with fire. And one of the swarms will need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, let's see. That is a nat 20 on its con save.
That is a... I have no excuse for it. Dunal is just amazed that the power of Asarak is just fucking up his swarm this badly. He's like, wow, these are good spells. And that would just end his turn as he kind of just chills and watches.
All right. Let's see. Brilinya. You're also out in the hallway watching. You saw Vale completely eliminate the 3 of the swarms. Fully looks like more than half of the spiders that were in the room are now gone. But Qualu is dealing with them as they crawl all over him. What will you do?
Brilinya wants to kneel down at the ground, and she is going to cast 2 Eldritch Blasts on either side of Qualu, making sure trying to get it so that they skid across the ground, so that they get as many spiders in the swarm as possible.
All right.
That is going to be a 22 and a 13 to hit.
Both of those are going to hit.
Okay. And that is going to do 19. Unless you want me to separate. Well, I'll separate the damage. So one is going to do 10, the other one is going to do 9.
Okay. Yeah, so you kind of like carefully shoot on either side of Qualu, and you do manage to get a pretty good chunk of these spiders, but you still see there's a fair amount swarming around. And it is their turn. If you are done. It is their turn, Qualu. They are, of course, going to attack you. And that's going to be... That was weird. My dice hit together as they hit the rolling tray and shot to opposite sides. Good lord. 11 and 15.
The 15 hits.
So again, a few of them managed to sink their teeth, or their little tiny undead fangs. Whoops, that's one extra die. You will take 6, 10, 13 points of piercing damage from these spiders. And that ends their turn, taking us to Qualu.
All right, I attack them again, kind of scraping them off with this greatsword, and smacking those swarms that are on the ground. I'm going to concentrate my attacks on one unless a first one kills it. So I got a critical hit for my first attack and a 15 for the second one.
Both of those are going to hit.
All right, cool. So for the critical hit, it's going to do 18 plus 8 is 26 plus... All those are rerolls. Oh boy. 26 plus 8, which would be 34 points of magical slashing damage.
There's no need to keep adding numbers to that.
All right.
You are successful in scraping, stomping, cutting, and otherwise removing all of the remaining spiders that have assaulted you.
Awesome.
You guys are now out of combat.
He'll use his 2 other attack actions just to go rah and yell. I don't know.
And a moment later, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, both Vale and Qualu will be overcome with momentary exhaustion as the haste spell wears off. Mm-hmm. But that's just like only for like a turn or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a round.
Yeah, so you kind of get really tired for a minute. You're both you're just panting heavily, and then you are able to quickly recover.
Pass me your water, Dunala.
You want some water? Drink some of that. I won't do that to you. I was going to say a smart that's coming, but no, here you go. And I will shape water over to my beautiful wolf, my sleek panther, Qualu.
Are you shaping water from your water skin or from the river?
From his water skin.
Who needs straws?
A little thin stream.
Now, Qualu, I know you're tired, but we have a sarcophagi here for you to open up, which I know you love to do. You shook your head like you don't.
Say no more.
Oh, yes, I knew.
All right. You all are now completely out of combat. This room, as described, is 30 feet by 30 feet. Let's see. Just checking something. That was 13. So you do see a sarcophagus in the middle of the room. And you do see that there is a stone concave indentation in the west wall. That is pretty much all there is of interest in this room.
You want to see the corpse of a young girl?
I don't think it's a young girl, but I do think there is something in here that we can maybe use or be cursed with or maybe kill us.
This sarcophagus, just as a reminder, has carved into it in relief a coiled serpent.
More snakes.
Truly, I would think.
Which, of course, yes, as Dunala says, you remember the trickster gods.
Yes, so we had the Froghemoth that we found, but we found the Zorbo, and ever since finding the Zorbo, Vale has been acting weird. Now, I suspect that finding the Jaculi will either make Vale act weirder, or return Vale back to normal, or do nothing.
You know what Qualu's dad once said? When you hit rock bottom, can only go up.
Why did you say dad? Why Qualu's dad?
Qualu talks in third person sometimes.
We've never done that before, but okay. Let us move these.
I like to push it open.
The much unlike the previous one, this sarcophagus slides right off. It is not locked or otherwise hindered.
Qualu got stronger, I see. One more level of fighter I took.
Inside, you see a bundle of faded cloth that is holding the serpentine bones of a Jaculi. Lying across these bones, you see a staff, a long wooden staff, coiled at the top, curling into the head of a serpent. This is a staff of pythons.
Oh, staff of pythons. Dunala looks at it. He looks at it good and long. He looks to Vale as like, Vale could touch this and become weird, or I could touch this and become weird. What do you think, Qualu?
Dunala speaks too much of touching things.
You're right.
Dunala must speak of thinking things.
Hang on a second.
At least that's what the Dunala in my head would have said.
Dunala in your head can say whatever you want him to say. He's in your head. Now, Vale, I've been waiting for a second. What's up?
Look, there's a lot of these gods all floating around, and like at least I've had two of them in my head right now. So
you come clean with it. So now I know why you're acting weird. Keep going.
Yeah. Look, maybe we should just be a little bit careful about who.
That's the god talking.
No. Not
yes. Now, Zorbo, I know. Listen, don't tell me what I know, because I know my Chultan deities. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I know
Zorbo,
this is Moa, who's honest, probably brutally so.
And you have Zorbo, who is what? A coward and is making Vale run away. You tried to put your woman in the back behind you, Vale.
Here's the thing, right? You know, not me, but look.
Go ahead. You know you can't justify it. It's just the god making you like this because your god is terrible.
May I try something before you touch the staff?
Go ahead.
And Brilinya is going to go up to Vale and hold his head on either side with her hands and close her eyes, and she's gonna try to cast Greater Restoration. Maybe that'll help him.
Oh dang. And in true Scanner's fashion, Vale's head explodes, leaving bloody.
We find out that all of Vale's personality is actually just like something that gets removed by Greater Restoration.
Vale opens his mouth and a Zorbo comes crawling out.
Brilinya, you reach out with your restorative magic, You feel the energies coursing through and curling out of your hands, moving across Vale's body. It looks almost as if the spell reacts in the same way something that is hydrophobic would react if water was dropped on it. The spell energy seems to almost beat up and roll off of Vale, having no effect.
Brilinya puts her hands down. I'm sorry, I tried.
Dunala, are you still standing next to the sarcophagus as you're arguing about this?
Mm-hmm.
As you're doing so, green smoke billows out from the staff, from the mouth of the serpent. It rises up, taking the shape of a jaculi. The smoke coils around you. You feel nothing until the head of the jaculi rests near your ear, and you hear a whisper. Let me help you. I promise to be good.
Trickster gods, thank you for showing yourself to me. Moa, was it? Yes? Yes, Vale?
See? You already know my name. We're off to a wonderful start.
But you see, my great High Lord Moa, one of your friends is currently possessing my other friend, and it is making it very difficult to survive this death trap with your Zorbo friend inside of him.
Who is it?
The Zorbo, I forgot the name.
Obalaka. Obalaka is harmless. Obalaka is cautious and fearful. As long as it's not Wango, there's nothing for you to fear.
Well, they say that Moa is honest, and I do not believe it, but,
I am honest to a fault.
Brilinya, I give you this choice. I can take the magic god-infested staff, because I am proficient in quarter staves, or you could take the magic proficient staff and be possessed by a god.
As you turn to Brilinya and say her name, the smoke uncoils from you, Dunala, and drifts rapidly across to Brilinya, coiling up and around until this smoke serpent looks you in the face, Brilinya. Yes, Brilinya, take up the staff. Let me join you. I promise I'll be good.
Dunala?
All right, I'll take it. All right, listen. I figured you don't want the staff then, right, Brilinya?
I don't.
All right. Listen, just know that for the next 24 to 48 hours or until my death, be it here or elsewhere, I will be acting a little bit strange. You're used to it. I was a 1T once. I was doing all kinds of weird things. Hopefully this will make me less like a 1T and more like, I don't know, just something else. But, just, prefacing that right now.
Why would you want this? Well, she's like looking at this thing as it's like she can't keep her eyes off of.
As a faithful spirit walker underneath the faith of Ubtal, I think it is my glory and my right to bring these trickster gods back to Port Nyan Zaru for my people. Is it a smart thing to do? I highly doubt it, but well, here we are. And then he will pick up the staff.
As you pick up the staff, the serpent in green smoke form immediately comes back, coiling up around your arm, and I need you to make a charisma saving throw, Dunala. And if you are within 10 feet of Vale, I believe you get to do so at advantage.
Yeah, but I mean,
So originally, before the advantage, I had a 2 + 9, so an 11. With advantage, I have a 20 + 9, so a 29.
The serpent coils around you, wrapping. You see the smoke filling your vision. It curls briefly into your nostrils, cloying into your mouth, moving all around your body. It actually slips into your robes, coming out one of the sleeves. And then the serpent head coils up next to your ear and says, "So, you don't want to play with Moa? Perhaps another will one day." And the smoke completely is pulled into the mouth of the serpent on the staff, and you are not possessed by the spirit of Moa, nor is anybody else. But you do also now have in your possession a staff of the Python. However, Dunala, you cannot attune to this item. You are a sorcerer, correct?
Correct.
Only a cleric, a druid, or a warlock can attune to this staff.
I feel like holding it, like sensing the magic inside of it, and as Moa disappears, Dunala will let out like a long low sigh, and then he'll say, "Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is Dunala has not been possessed by this god, because Dunala is just a great of a sorcerer. But the bad news is Dunala is a person who was infested with magic. My magic is strange, as you all know. This here Python, Moa, wants to make a pact. I cannot make a pact. Perhaps, Brilinya, you should be the one to try. I know not the source of your magic, other than your scars and your angels, but I know it is different than mine. Do you wish?"
If you think it will help, then I will.
This will be a very strange experience with you. You've never been with anything so Chultan, but, and like halfway through his sentence, he would just like chuck it at Brilinya for her to catch.
Brilinya, you can either dodge it or you can reach out and grab it.
I almost think it's like half reflexive that she would just catch it.
I'm not even going to make you roll for it. As it's flying towards you, you see the green smoke billowing out of it, and it seems to almost magically come towards your hand. Immediately, the smoke, in a very lazy fashion, curls and spills almost like a liquid out of the mouth of this serpent on the staff. It runs down across your forearm, and it actually coils slowly around the mithril scars on your arm, and then rises up to your shoulder, forming that serpent head of Moa once more, the Jakuli, in your ear. "So, Brilinya, perhaps we can get to know one another a little bit better. And I need you to make a charisma saving throw. If you are within 10 feet of Vale, you may do so at advantage.
Am I?
I feel like you guys were all pretty close. Nobody had said that they were moving out away from the sarcophagus or anything, so I will let you make that at advantage.
Okay. That is a 19.
It seems as though nobody trusts the honest Shakuli. 'Tis a shame, really. And all the smoke vanishes inside the staff, and you now have a staff of the Python. If you have attunement slots remaining, you may attune to this staff. Go to manage your items and search for Staff of the Python, and you will be able to add that to your inventory. This, for those of you that are wondering, this has just been a precedent we set in the campaign. I don't bother with identify and all that stuff because of the shorter nature of what we do. I just let you guys know what you get when you get it. I personally enjoy that. Let you guys know exactly what magics you have at your disposal. You can use an action to speak the staff's command word and throw it on the ground within 10 feet of you, and it will become a giant constrictor snake. Under your control and acting on its own initiative count. As a bonus action, you can speak the word again and it becomes normal. On your turn, you can mentally command it if it is within 60 feet of you and you are not incapacitated, you decide what actions it is going to take. If the snake is reduced to 0 hit points, it dies and reverts back to staff form. The staff then shatters and is destroyed. However, if you revert it back to staff form before its hit points are gone, it regains all of them and maintains staff form. You can do this one of two ways. I think in the description it gives you the option to just hover over it and bring up the giant constrictor snake whenever it comes into play. Or somewhere in D&D Beyond on your character sheet, there is an option to add almost like animal companions. I don't remember if Vale did this for Moyo or not, but that would be another option for you. Nonetheless, it appears as though Dunala and Brilinya have both resisted the allure of the trickster god Moa, the Jakuli.
You can see that Brilinya looks at the snake head on top of the staff, and she almost goes and traces a finger around the eye. She looks back up at Dunala. I'm all right. I think this will come in handy.
Yeah, see, Chult, great. You should come live here when we're done, maybe dying or whatever.
There is nothing else in this room, and there appears to be no other exits in this room other than the one you came through, at least on a visual inspection. What would you like to do?
Go wade through the water and sing old spirituals as we head deeper into the Tomb of Annihilation.
All right, so you want to... You're just going to leave the way you came. Is everybody else in agreement with this? Very well. You head back through this narrow passageway through the now destroyed secret door. You descend the stairs into the river. You continue moving eastward very rapidly. Within about 30 feet, the water curves ever so slightly to the north. And you can see, as you move around, the water suddenly drops off in front of you. There is a roughly 15 to 20 foot circular pit that the water is now cascading down into. You hear far below you water crashing into more water. All around this circular hole, you can see that there are crevices and handholds and whatnot. 15 feet across from you, there is a roughly 10-foot outcropping jutting out, on which sits a single wooden chest. What would you like to do?
I have a sword.
Not everything can be solved with a sword.
When has that, Vale, at what point in our journey has that been proven true?
Well,
Not? Exactly.
Don't get 10th level without having a good tool at your disposal. Like a
Yeah.
sword
Listen.
or fireball.
The thing is, you're my best friend. I don't want you to die to a trap. So it's like, I want you to hit it with your sword, but I don't want you to die hitting it with your sword,
Can't you make appear some kind of spectral hand? I've seen you do it, perhaps.
I can do it because, yes, I do. I have the mage hand cantrip for my feet, magic initiate, but I'm not sure if that will open the chest.
There's no harm in trying. I do feel like my sword has been overused.
Do you now? Is your sword getting
No.
tired? Or are you out of sword slots to use?
Yeah, I can only do sword cantrips now.
Oh, okay, I understand. Don't worry. And I will cast Mage Hand, which takes the form of a spectral sapphire animal. In this case, an Almirage, as is a theme for this session. It will hop over to this chest and try to open it.
So it is an open pit that falls down, and the ledge with the chest is 15 feet away from you over what appears to be a black
Mage
endless
hand
pit.
can reach that.
So this Almirage sort of hops across the open air, as it is a floating spectral item. The Almirage form fumbles with the lock, but does not seem to be able to manipulate it.
Sick. Well, we have two options. Wait, is this like the only way we can go? Like, this is the end of the river?
Yeah, it's basically looking down. As far as one's dark vision can see, which is 60 feet, the waterfall still continues to fall beyond that. So you know it's at least a 60-foot drop. And then there's this chest on the ledge. Otherwise, you have reached the end of what you can do.
Qual, does your strength score allow you to jump over 10-foot ledges? Gap?
I'd imagine with a 20 strength score, I can leap much farther than 10 feet, especially with a running start.
Would
You
like
also
to-
have the option of attempting to climb around the ledges, the rocks and whatnot.
Climbing is for super peasants, and we only have hyper peasants.
Climbing, yes, but walking on the wall like that skeleton did there.
Well, I can't walk on walls, and you can't walk on walls. The skeleton could walk on walls, so we blew it up. I say you just jump over there. Is that a bad idea, Brilinya? You usually tell me if I have a bad idea or not. Is this a bad idea?
Brilinya can fly.
You can fly, Brilinya.
I can.
Would you like to fly to? You don't have to, but would you like to fly to the chest?
Sure.
Do you know how to pick locks?
Not at all.
I have a lockpick.
But
So
maybe
here's
if
the
it's
thing.
not too heavy, I could bring it back over.
Okay. And if you can't bring it back over, you can use Eldritch Blast at a distance to blow turn off your cell phone and then blow the lock off.
All right, I can try. And Brilinya is going to use her Radiant Soul action.
Good, because I couldn't find the rules on jump. I couldn't remember what they were. I think it's like you can move your strength score in distance, so you'd be able to make like 20-foot jump anyway. So you unfurl your wings, and your radiant light illuminates this area, and it's basically just a quick leap as you one flap of your wings, and you just immediately land on this ledge. And in front of you, you can see that this chest is more than just a wooden chest. The wood appears to be a dark oak, and there is golden filigreed edging all around it. It is an incredibly ornate chest.
She is going to see if she can lift it quickly before the spell ends, or before her Radiant Soul ends.
Okay. You reach down and you grab the gold ornate handles, and you attempt to lift the chest. It actually rises up just a little bit, but weirdly the chest seems to sort of still be on the ground, but it slightly elongates as you realize your hands are adhered to the handles of this chest. In front of your face, the chest opens, and ornate golden fangs curl down, and a silver tongue curls out as the mimic looks like it wants to bite you. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session.
That is the first time in all my years of playing a DM has actually used a mimic against us, and I'm very, very happy. One, it's not me. and Two, that it's happening.
Ask Megan. It is not the first time I've used a mimic. I even once in a 2-shot used an entire mausoleum was a mimic.
Oh, I've done. Yeah, that's dope. That's aesthetic. I'm also
But-
happy that I put Brilinya in this danger, so I can continue the aesthetic of trying to kill Megan's characters.
All it needs now is like one of those swords just to come out and chop my
Yeah,
head off.
it's a Vorpal sword out of nowhere. For reference, I cut off her head by accident with a Vorpal sword in a game that Locrius ran.
I think that mimics are probably, in terms of favorite monsters, second only to beholders for me, and it's just because of their versatility. One of the coolest encounters I've ever seen with mimics, if I remember correctly, it was in a Winds of Celine game run by Barker, in which the players went into a room and all of the furniture in the room was mimics.
Yeah.
It was a wardrobe, it was a dresser, it was a bed, a chest, everything was mimics. You can check that out on the Be a Better Game Master YouTube channel. The Winds of Celine, which is a fantastic campaign set in Barker's world of Ankea. I believe Cassie, who plays in our game with Megan and I on Monday nights, and with Mike as DM, along with James, Matt. Who's the fourth player in that game? Cassie, James, Matt.
Tim was in there.
Oh yeah, Tim. Tim is in there. That's right, because Matt's playing the, I believe, a gnomish warlock that actually doesn't speak. It's the owl that speaks. It's a wonderful game. I actually missed that game. But yeah, I love mimics, and this is, as everybody knows, I'm running straight out of Tomb of Annihilation. And that's why I almost ended the session after you got the Staff of the Python, but I knew you guys would either search the room or probably just continue down this river. And I thought, nope, this is going to be a good way to end it, because you're either going to try to go down the waterfall or you're going to try to get that chest.
Oh, so you're telling me to go back and search the room, Jake? I see.
I told you that. I said there's no way that you can see to get out of that room. So unless this mimic kills Brilinya, you guys might need the sarcophagus to put her body in. This is the Tomb of Annihilation, after all.
I thought Aasimar like disintegrated and become like, I don't know, a choir of angels glittering in the sunlight when they die.
Turn into literally a god and then smite whoever killed them and then turn into a choir of angels.
I will say that there are places in this tomb in which finding out what happens with when an Aasimar dies are very real possibilities.
Oh, sick. Time to go find Brilinya's dead other
Time
sister.
to do some science.
And we're only on the first level of the Tomb of Annihilation. But this is, I don't know, maybe it's because I've been drinking, but this session was a lot of fun for me.
Maybe because I'm drunk out of my mind, but this is a good time, guys.
No, I really had a lot of fun. I felt like I was in the zone.
I see 10 players here, but it's so fun.
I felt like I was in the zone with this, and this just felt like a really fun session. I think because you guys are in the tomb, and this tomb is just so cool, it's like I just want to keep playing. So, I will have to get with the players and stay tuned to right down here below my microphone at MTD_Jake. As well as in the Absolute Tabletop group. I'm not 100% will be able to play next week. I will be at Grand Con. If you are in the Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, or anywhere in the world, really, if you want to come all the way to Michigan, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is Grand Con. It's primarily a board game and Dungeons and Dragons, role-playing games, all kinds of good stuff going on there. I will be running my Tomb of the Mummy Lord all 3 days as a charity event. There are still some seats open, $10 a seat, going to benefit Jasper's Game Day. Also on Saturday morning, I can't remember, I think it's at 10 a.m., Nate from WASD20, WASD20, who is also a Michigander, he and I will be co-teaching a D&D for Beginners family-friendly seminar where we will be teaching people how to create characters, and then as a group exercise we're going to take them through with those characters through a single encounter. And then I know Nate is also teaching a map making seminar at that con. Lots of great stuff going on. It's a wonderful con that happens every fall, late summer, early fall here in Michigan. I am running Tomb of the Mummy Lord on that Sunday, but now that I think about it, the entire con ends at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So I don't think we'll have a problem with being able to play next weekend. But I will follow up with you guys once I know the schedule for sure. Otherwise, there's probably a 70-30, 70% chance that we might not be playing All That Glitters tomorrow night. It is my 24th wedding anniversary, mine and my wife's. So there is, my wife and I did do some stuff today. We went out and had a wonderful meal and whatnot. But I may opt not to play that game. And unfortunately, as the host, it means if I'm not playing, nobody can play. So we may or may not have All That Glitters on Monday. And we should be back on Thursday with Dawnbringers, episode 6. In our last session, if you missed it, we finally, through a wonderful ceremony, got Griffith clean of his impurities and his corruption. So hopefully he will not be such a dick anymore. So Dawnbringers is a wonderful campaign over on Thursday nights with Megan as one of the players, as well as several other wonderful players. And then I think that's it for this week. The only games that are going on. I am going to plug one last thing. If you head over to youtube.com/mini-terrain-domain right now, yesterday I spent the entire day putting together 3 tutorial videos that are now available on my channel. One of them is, if you like what we're doing here and you want to do this yourself, but you're not entirely sure how to go about it, OBS, Zoom, all of those things are alien to you. I have a how to stream D&D and other role-playing games tutorial available. It's about 25-30 minutes. And I cover all the bases of setting up Zoom, setting up all your OBS settings, grabbing your players. Megan and Connor, along with Lloyd and Karen, helped me out with that. They appear briefly in that tutorial. And as a companion piece to that, there's a 2-part tutorial on making your own overlays like you see here, and creating your own stream package with your pre-stream, post-stream, intermission, and promo images, as well as the thumbnail for your VOD. All of those tutorials are available now on the Mini-Terrain Domain YouTube channel. Go check those out. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you found them useful. And let me know if you do set your own stream. That would be exciting to hear. I think I'm going to bring this up one more time because I think we brought it up on Thursday was the actual day. But Connor and Megan just celebrated the 1-year anniversary of Cryfoth, something that we showed during the break. Cryfoth, the Ravaged Wastelands of Cryfoth. Successful Kickstarter they had 1 year ago, a little over a year ago, and then they released the final print product and PDF product. It is available on Drive-Thru RPG right now, and it is incredible, especially if you want to get your 5th edition Dark Sun vibes, but with a very unique, very demonic setting. Marquise actually ran a 7-game series called The Last 7 Days right here on Mini-Terrain Domain almost a year ago, actually. So, yep, I think that's about it. We are... First of all, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We had quite a few people in chat talking, a few people. Mappernomica in LA, it was wonderful to see you here. I know you were offline for a while. It's always exciting to see you. Starin, I think, left already, as I'm not sure. Andrew might be here still. Fellowship of the Tables, thank you. And everybody else who tuned in, of course, thank you to all of you. And thank you, as always, to Mike, Marquise, Megan, and Connor, the only one indecent enough to not have an M name of my players, to break the alliteration. We're going to go ahead and get out of here, because for some reason that I don't know why,
goes back
I keep rambling. we're going to end this session the same way we end every session. And you can say it with me if you want. A mimic.